Hey, soul family. I should shut some of these windows. It's a little, lighting. Is that better? No. Hi, Gina. God, that's way too high. Hi. Okay, so I'm gonna let a couple people get on. I need to keep myself organized because there's so many things that I'm supposed to talk about. The lighting is horrible. And that's even worse. Gosh, you know what? I feel like I need to shut myself in a room. Okay, I do. I gotta turn the lights out. Okay, is that better? Gosh, I feel like I'm in a tomb. Okay, I feel like I need to go outside or something. I think I do. I think I freaking need to breathe. I feel like I'm in a, my heart's racing. Hi. I've got, okay, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about was, everybody knows about the narcissist and the empath. I can't handle this. I can't handle not seeing. Hold on. I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay, sorry. You know what? We're just gonna have to deal with me being all whited out because I can't handle being in a tomb. Okay, so we all know about the narcissist and the empath, but what people may not understand is, or maybe aren't familiar with, I'm not going to say don't understand, well, maybe don't understand, is a spiritual narcissist. So it's clear if somebody, the narcissist is the one who attaches to somebody. They attach to your, because they want your energy, right? And they're the ones that are really, really sweet and loving, and they'll love bomb you, and they'll be great to you, but as long as you're doing what you want them to do. But then when you go against what they want you to do, they become very abusive, they're controllers. It's all about control. But you can still have this issue. It's called a spiritual empath, where you can actually have somebody who's a mentor to you. Now, this can be like a mentor, this can be a friend, this can be a family member, this can be a lover, this can be a friend. And what these people do is they prey on innocent energy. They prey on the happy, joyful, lighthearted energy. And it's interesting because I've been warned by spirits. I've been shown this for so many years, and I didn't understand what I was being shown. And how, when I went to Sedona, I was kept isolated from all the other pseudo spiritual people, because there's a lot of people that call themselves spiritual people, and they're not. I know I've had this discussion with you guys before, and I'm not reiterating the same thing. What this is people talk about twin flames, right? And how there's a runner and there's a chaser. And, the runner is the one apparently that's not awakened, right? And while the chaser is the one that's supposedly more on their path. There is no runner chaser in a twin soul relationship, because you never run from the ones that you love. The one that runs from you is a karmic lesson. Now, we're all karmic people, I get that. But what's going on is this one, whoever this is, and it can happen in your family. I have a family member. I'm not going to say who it is, but I have a family member who was this to me. You get to a place where, and you can see this when you're awakening and you're a spiritual person, or if you're a child in the family, if you've got a favorite uncle and wow, man, he's just amazing, or, your dad, he's your hero, and this person you look up to them. They're very successful. They're very smart, very, very intelligent, because they've learned how to work things since they were young. And generally they're bred. They're bred that way. They can be bred by their family, like raised and groomed by their family, or by lovers, or by, relationships that they've been through. They're somebody who has been through abuse. And instead of taking their abuse, they have now become and learning from it, right? And protecting themselves and understanding and growing past it. They have taken that and they have turned it around, and they're using it now as a weapon, and they now control others. So when the one that in my life, I kept being shown that there's a Leo between my twin and I. They said Leo, a lion, right? And I kept getting a name over and over again. And in my dreams, I would see this person that I used to be connected to. And it was really strange because I knew I wasn't seeing that person, but I was seeing that person's energy. I was seeing somebody in that was attached to me, connected to me, who had that same energy in their life. And I was watching what was the dynamics that was going on between that person who once they got you, then they run away from you. They're constantly not available. Now it can be a parent, constantly not available, gone. But then as soon as you start to pull away, they come running back, right? And so in my dreams, I'm watching this person, and it was given the face of this one in my life that basically I gave up my life for this person. It was all of a sudden, my whole life was not my life. It was about them, right? My life was all about them. And you think about that song. Oh God, I've got so many notes here. Let me go through the list so and I'll go back. So these ones, they're not true empaths, okay? A true empath gets overwhelmed with the energy that they are giving others, right? They give and they give and they give. And then they're made to feel guilty by these ones who are grooming them. It's like Stockholm syndrome. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to give. That's why I'm here. So they feel guilty. And then the narcissist will either become abusive, and they talk down to you, or they become very needy, which then of course feeds the empath, because the empath feels, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. This is my role, right? And that makes me feel special because now I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So I give, right? I'm giving to this person when they're the ones that need to be giving to themselves. So like I said, this could be a spiritual this could be a spiritual mentor, this can be a family member, this can be a lover, this can be a friend. And you may notice, I've noticed this for quite a while, how there will be ones that will come on my work page, right? They'll leave comments on my posts. And I'm gonna swipe the comments away, you guys, because it's distracting me, sorry. They'll come on my posts and they'll leave comments. And the thing that's interesting is they're very, very intelligent, but the words that they say don't make any sense. And I'm thinking to myself, are they that deep? It kind of goes around and around in circles. My dad talked to me about this when I was a kid. This was my first husband. He did this to me when I married him when I was 17. This person would, you would ask this person a straight question, and he would go around and around and around. By the time he finished, you were so confused. You had no idea what he was talking about. He never answered your question. But you were now sitting there thinking that maybe you weren't intelligent because you weren't able to pick up on what this person, who's obviously extremely knowledgeable, just shared with you, right? And so my dad said he's like Kung Fu. He's Kung Fu. And he would say, you think about, in the old movie in the 70s, right, the Kung Fu series, how the sage would go and listen to this one. So like I said, it can be somebody that you follow, and that's what's so scary. When I was first learning, asked to take this path on, and I was like, hell no, I'm not going to do this. And then I was taken away to Wisconsin, and then I was brought to Sedona. I was taken out of where I was because I had fallen off my path. I wasn't staying focused on what I was supposed to be doing. My life all of a sudden was completely, I gave myself over to somebody else's life. I lost myself in this person. The spirit said, no, that's enough. You're out of here. You got to go. So I went to Sedona, and they kept me isolated because there are ones, and I got to tell you, as growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, I was taught, and there are reasons why we go through the stuff that we've gone through. We may think, oh my God, why did we have to go through that? And, that was wrong, and I hope nobody else has to deal with that. Everything that's happened in our life is happening to us in order to bring about what we need to understand, what we need to learn. It's the same thing as everything you're going through is happening so that you can get what it is that you asked for. And you're thinking, God, why did I ask for this, right? And I hope I'm not confusing you guys. I don't want to be doing the same thing, going back and forth. But what goes on is there is no ego in spirit, okay? There is no ego. I'm sure I'm connected to people, and I've detached. And I wondered why it was happening. You know how Spirit, I've talked about the other day how People will start falling away from our lives, and we keep trying to connect with them, and we don't know why we can't connect with them, but it's happening for a reason. You've leveled up. You have become aware. You have awakened to the place where these ones that were your mentor, right? They are here, and now you're either at the level that they are, or you're surpassing, because there are so many that forget who they are and what their place is. What I was taught as a Jehovah's Witness was, don't ever forget who you are, why you're here, and whose message you're delivering. In the Bible, and I use the Bible all the time because people are familiar with it, not because I'm a Bible thumper or I live my life by the Bible. I do like, there's a lot of information that's helpful for me, so I refer back to it. In the Bible, I think it was Moses that was worried, right? That he had a speech impediment. He couldn't speak properly. He literally had to have his brother speak for him because he wasn't capable of getting the words out. But the Father, our Father, God, didn't choose his brother to speak to Pharaoh. He chose Moses because Moses was the one that was awake. Moses was the one that was connected to God. The other one, that's fine, but Moses was the one that was speaking, right? So he was feeling like, I can't do this, and he was worrying about himself, about how he would appear, how he would be embarrassed, or I can't go up against the Pharaoh. I'm just this blah blah blah. And God said to him, I don't need you. I don't need you to speak for me. If I chose to, I could have the rocks cry out. This is a privilege I am giving you. This is a blessing for you. So remember who you are and remember whose message this is. So it's like our circumstances or the universe will bring us the Goliath in our life in order for the David in us to come out, right? And to know that when David was in the lion's den with the lions circling around, there's no way that guy would have made it out of there alive. But he did, because what was happening? There were angels that were completely surrounding. So he was safe from these hungry lions. Remember I told you there was a lion that was between me and my spiritual twin. Well, and I've said before, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid. I was once hunted by you, and now I watch you. I see who you are. And when I figure out who you are, you're blocked and you're gone. I don't need to fight with you because that's not my place. I'm not going to give you my energy. You want me to fight with you because that you feed off of that, right? And that weakens me. But there are ones that are spiritual people that I've connected to who I've been very impressed by. But as I grew myself, I've watched things about these people, and they have a huge ego. They have huge platforms and great large followings. And remember I said to you guys, I was wondering, why is it that this information that comes from Spirit, I have so few people that watch this on YouTube, while these tarot card readers have these giant followings, right? And in the back of my mind, I could already hear my higher self talking. And Spirit said to me, my higher self said, if Spirit wants these videos to be seen, they'll be seen. They're going to be seen by the right people. Why are you so worried about how many people see it? Why does that matter? Are you forgetting what the purpose for this is? Is it that you want public acclaim? Is it you want a large following? And I said, no, I just want people to, and then I thought, if God wants to, he could make the rocks cry out. He doesn't need me to fucking do it, right? I have been given a privilege in order to learn, so that when I learn, I can share this with you guys so that you can stop what's happening that happened to me. I told you guys I kept having people stalking my page, coming to my page, and I knew that energy. Every time they came, I knew it was the same person or same group of people. And they would win me over. Why? Because they knew things that they couldn't have known if they weren't connected. They literally led me to believe that they were my spiritual twin. And yet I battled with that because I thought, he doesn't need to pretend. He doesn't need Facebook to communicate with me. He can communicate with me in my head, in my dreams. We've done that. The only people that need to reach you in this way are ones that have gifts, yes, but they've learned these gifts. There are ones, Spirit said to me, you have competition by many people who have the same gifts as you. And yet they're not using their gifts in the right way. Now, they may have started out using their gifts in the right way. Their whole purpose was to help people. But when they started to get a lot of people following them, they started getting an ego. They started getting puffed up, and they liked it. They liked it. It's like, I like getting this attention. This feels really good. And I kept battling in my head, okay, Spirit wants me to be successful, so there's nothing wrong with me wanting my page to grow, right? Is there? And yet, the other side of me, you've got the devil and the angel here, right? The other side of me is saying, don't worry about it. What's meant to happen is going to happen. Just, you do your work. You keep your nose to the grindstone and do your work. So, these people, I'm thinking of all the different songs that come up to me. What happens with these narcissistic, these spiritual narcissists, is they actually feed off of you. They will come and, like, I blocked somebody this morning. I've noticed this person, I've been watching them for a little while. And what they'll do is they'll come on my page and they'll leave a comment. And the comment is actually, I feel like it's an attack. And I'm not being super sensitive. I am a super sensitive and I'm picking up on something. But what they do is they'll say something that doesn't make sense to me. Now, I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just saying what they said was not said in a way to teach with love. They'll say it in a way that makes you feel stupid. They'll say, and I don't mean that you're being sensitive, because you're not. They will say it in a way that's condescending. They'll say it in a way that puts you down. So basically they're establishing their basis, right? Their ground. They're establishing them here and you here. And once you buy into this bullshit, and they do it at first by being very kind and giving and generous and opening up things to you, and they puff your pride, they fluff the pride wag, thing. Oh God, that's a message right there. I already know that this person that's doing this is a gay man. So, they worm their way in by showing you things that they couldn't know if they weren't connected as well. You know that because you know that, okay, they wouldn't know that. How would they know that? Well, a lot of times they know that because they're also hackers. And they get into your computers and they read your dreams, they read your notes, they read whatever's in there. So they'll get information, or they are literally gifted. And they do have gifts. There was the example of Satan and Jesus. Okay? That's just an example, but it's a good example. It's a good way I can show it. Both sons of God, right? One was the most beautiful of all, most beautiful of angels. Got so puffed up with his ego, his pride, that he wanted to know more. He wanted to be bigger. He wanted attention. So he split off and he basically formed his own group, right? So it's like these ones who form their own team. They form a big following and everybody gets to be a part of their team. And you can get a sweatshirt with our name on it and you can be one of our family. Well, I got to tell you, there's only one United Collective, one. And it's all of us, and it doesn't have one name, right? That's giving attention to that group of people because it's puffing up and putting somebody up on a platform. That's why things like the Jones Massacre happen. That's why people are like lemmings, and they'll follow this leader off a freaking cliff. What these ones do is they knock you down to the place where, first of all, they're taking your energy. They're taking your energy, and they take and they take and they take from you. And once they've gotten filled up with your energy, then they're gone. They're gone. You can't get a hold of them. They won't commit to you if it's in a relationship, right? They're just not available to you. And you fall apart. You fall to your knees. And now you're down here all broken wondering, what happened? I thought you loved me. I thought you cared about me. I thought blah, blah, blah. And you feel bad about yourself. You turn it in on you, right? You don't turn it on them. You turn it in on you. Because they've already proven to you that you're not as smart as them. They've already proven to you that, look at all these people that follow me. Look at the money that I have. Look at the success that I have. Obviously, I wouldn't have that if I didn't know what I was doing, right? And look at you. I mean, look at you. It's pathetic. So you're down there on your knees, and then I think of that song. You're down on your knees, right? And so what does an empath do? What does a true empath do when they feel attacked or when they feel overwhelmed? They leave. They detach. They go in. They go into spirit. They go into nature. They go back to spirit. That's where they go because they know that's their source. They go to source to feed themselves. They don't go to other people. A true empath does not feed off of another. A true empath is a selenite tower. They are self-charging and they are self-cleansing. They don't need anybody else to charge off of. But other people need them. And they clear other people's energy. That's why they're so valuable. That's why they are God's workers. That's why when you do things like this to God's workers, there's going to be a karmic backlash that you don't even You have not comprehended what you're doing if you're doing this. So I'm going to go back. I've got so much more to say. You're down there on the ground, right? Okay, before I go too far, because I know that people watch these videos and they'll think I'm speaking specifically to them. When I was in the company of this very enlightened being, I asked for a hug when they left. And the person said, I already gave you a hug. And I said, okay, well, can I have another? Are we counting? And so the person said, I don't know. Are you going to take my energy or are you going to give me your energy? And I thought, I don't know what you're talking about. I just was going to give you a hug. Because at that point, I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know. I was awakened. I wasn't on the level that he was at that time. So he decided to give me a hug. And so as he hugged me very long, and then all I was saying was, I love you, I love you, I love you. It was just love. It felt good, right? And then he stepped back. It was a long hug, and he stepped back and he said, well done. And I thought, what? And he goes, you didn't take my energy, but you didn't put your energy on me either. So it was like a test of feeling the energy. Now, was he testing me? Was he real? At that point, who knows? So you fall apart, right? You're down on your knees. And then you do turn back to spirit. You go to spirit. You lean in. You call on your archangels, and you start to build. And you realize, okay, I picked myself up. I guess that person wasn't for me, or I guess I've got a lot more to learn. Whatever it is, you start to heal yourself. And when you start getting back up on your knees again, you just get back up on your knees and you start feeling good again, and you start moving forward again, and boom, they're back. We're in Mercury retrograde right now, so you need to be very, very careful. They're all coming back, right? They don't need to come back in the physical. I'm shown by spirit when this one in my life starts trying to come to me. I see it because he shows up in my dreams. I see him energetically. I see his face. I was given his name over and over and over. So for me to be given that name again and again, yes, I know who that person is, but I also know who that person represents in the life of the ones that I'm watching. I dream with my clients, right? So in this one dream, I'm in a room and I see this person. And this person has got this young girl lying on his lap. But he puts his arm around that young girl and he's trying to hold my hand. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm there, like I'm lucid in my dream, but I'm also watching a role be played. And I think to myself, why do I feel drawn to this person? Why do I want that person? I wouldn't want somebody who is like, I don't fucking share, period. Right? Like, not me. I don't share. I'm a one person and that's it. And if you got some young chick on your lap and you reaching around that one to hold my hand, I'm not a part of this. So I'm clearly not that person that I'm watching through their eyes. So I'm thinking to myself, why do I feel drawn to this person? I really want that person. I felt that pull towards that energy. And so you may ask yourself that too. Once you hear this message, like when I was listening last night, I had so many messages coming from spirit and I was just like, boom, boom. It's like an addiction. It is an addiction. It's because when they're getting that feeding off of you, it's like in Avatar, when you pick out your dragon, and you've got to wrestle that dragon, and you got to get that dragon. That dragon is going to fucking fight you, right? But you get that dragon, and then you clamp into that dragon. And once you have clamped into that dragon, their life force flows through you. So when you have sex with somebody, it's a big deal. That's why this woman has been celibate for like 6.5 years. And before that, what was it? 11? Because when you energetically connect, especially through sex, you have given your soul to this person. Their energy moves through you and they can control you. They don't even have to freaking be in the same country as you. So what's going on is now you're on your knees and you've gotten back up and you're thinking, I know who I am, and I've pulled away, and then that person comes back. And now they're going to try a few different things. They'll try either the guilt thing or they'll try the love bombing, right? Whichever works for you. Makes me think of that song. I found you on your knees and I put you back on your feet, only for you to take advantage of me. How does it feel living up there, knowing I put you there? There's two ways to read this song. This person may have found you when you were down and out, when you were struggling. They know you were prey to them. They know how to pick you out. They knew how to pick me out. It was really clear. This person's heart is open. This person's got bright, innocent eyes. This person wants to believe the best in everyone, because that's what an empath is. We are trusting. We are innocent. Spirit wants us to be innocent, but they also want us to learn how to protect ourselves. So here's this one now, and now you're confused because you're like, okay, I almost got away. I almost got away so many times, but you want to see the good in that person. You will see, oh, that person went through a lot. They've got post-traumatic stress, but this person will have a pattern. You watch that person. That person will live off of other people. That person is, and Spirit says, there's somebody that's coming to you and they're struggling right now and they want your help and you're going to want to help them, but don't help them because they think they can't do it, but they can. They can do it. Now, there's two different ways. There's the one who has been under the influence of this narcissistic, even a spiritual narcissist, right? And then there's the real narcissist. So there's the one who knows exactly what they're doing. And then there's the one who's doing it by learned behavior. They were raised by a narcissistic aunt or uncle or father or brother, right? They were raised in the same family. I have people in my own family that are this. I have two. And they are, they blame everybody. So Spirit says, you go to where there's love, kindness, compassion, mercy, forgiveness. You stay away from ridicule, judgment, blame. If you have a spiritual teacher or an empath who speaks down to you and makes you feel stupid, they're not coming from the light. Now, they might be somebody that's needing to learn a lesson, but they're not coming from the light. When I was in Sedona, Spirit, I told you I was working on this psychic hotline, right? And I was scared to death. I was terrified. I was so new at this. And somebody found me on my page, on my spiritual page. I think at the time it was just my regular page. And they were somebody that had written many books. It's funny, I can't remember this person's name, but at the time, I was like, oh my God, this person wrote to me, right? This one wanted me to read for them. And I was just, because you know what? Because this person saw something in me. They knew. They knew before I knew the gifts that Spirit had given me. I didn't even know how to control my gifts. I didn't even understand, but they have radar, right? They know who to look for. And so he came to me and he asked me for a reading. And Jacqueline Garner, I just reconnected with her again. She was the one person that I connected to on Facebook as I would call a mentor, because I didn't know what I was doing. When all these gifts started awakening inside of me, I didn't know what was happening. I was scared. Things were happening that I couldn't explain. And I couldn't talk to my family. I couldn't talk to my friends. They would all thought I was crazy. So I would stay up at night because it was all happening at night, right? All these things that I was having happen. And I would scroll on Facebook, and I didn't have very many spiritual friends at the time because I was just on there for my friends and family. But I'd connected to that one person. And so I would ask her so many questions. I drove her crazy. And she worked with me for a while. But the truth of the matter is she does what I do, right? This is what I do for a living. I give a lot of my time. And after a while, it was like, look, you need to do this work yourself, Sherry. You have gifts. I can't do this for you. If you would like a reading, I'll do a reading for you. And Spirit will show you. But I've got to put a line across, a boundary. I will honestly tell you, I went through probably 5 people like that. 5? 1, 2, 3. No, I wouldn't say 5. I would say 3. I did the same thing to 3 different people because I was desperate. I was searching and I didn't understand. I didn't know at that time that I had all my own answers. All I had to go was in. All I had to go was ask Spirit, and I had to do research myself. So when people start doing it to me, and see, the thing is, I was so grateful, right? I wasn't trying to take advantage of her. I wasn't trying to suck her energy, but it was draining her energy. It wasn't fair to her. I didn't know that I was doing that. There are ones who know they're doing that, okay? There's a difference. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you have these ones that'll come to you, and as a teacher, especially as you're just awakening, and you get these people, you know, following and coming to you, and it feels really good because you think you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're here to do this. You're an empath. That's your path. But you forget about who you are and who they are, and you forget that, you know, I'm not here to serve you to the exclusivity of you and not me. What about me? Right? The song, What About Me? Remember that song? We listened to you. We came when you called. But what about us? That's the message. What about us? So we need to have our boundaries so that we're not giving away all of our energy to people, even if they don't understand what's going on. We need to be, you know, yes, I'll you know, my page is open. There's a lot of videos, right? Go to my channel. Just go through the videos. You'll get your answers. Right? Especially the choose an item, because your higher self will show you which one of those messages, of those 4 messages, would be the best one for you to look at right now. That's why I always do it that way. That's why Spirit kept stopping me from going to the Zodiac. They didn't want me to do that because Zodiac, it's tarot. The tarot is like, once you learn how to play poker, there's only one way to play poker. It's poker, right? Everybody can learn how to play poker, and you can get really good at it. And you can add things to it, that's great. But it's just one game, right? It's one thing, and everybody can learn it. Once you got it, it's down pat. People say to me, you know, why don't you give classes and teach people how to do this? I don't know how to. This is how I give classes. This is how I teach. Because Spirit didn't have me go to classes. They told me not to. I wasn't to go to classes. The only 2 things I was supposed to do was learn Reiki, so I understood what it felt like to have the energy moving through me, and dream analysis. Just a very small course in dream analysis, because I was going to have to decipher what was symbolic and what was prophetic, and I was supposed to understand what was going on. And so, other than that, they said, we will teach you. I am taught by Spirit. They know how to bring me messages. Mostly my animals, but there's so many other means. So I can understand how we get confused, and how others get confused as well. I'm not villainizing everybody, right? I am speaking about the ones who know what they're doing. People can learn how to remote view. People can learn how to astral travel. You can take a course and read a book and figure it out, but you can't learn these gifts. You're born with a gift, or you're not. We all have gifts, but they're various kinds of gifts, right? Not everybody is an empath. Not everybody is a medium. Not everybody is a channel. Not everybody is psychic. And I didn't understand that, because I thought, well, we all have the ability. We all have gifts, right? But maybe your gift is music. Maybe your gift is lyrics. Maybe your gift is writing. Maybe your gift, whatever. You use your gift in order to help others, right? But that doesn't mean that you're a channel. And so the people that were connecting to me, when I met them, they had learned things that I hadn't learned. They were interested in it, so they studied it, and they learned how to do certain things, and they knew how to manipulate, because they figured it out. It took me a long time before I realized, wow, you might know how to do that, but you don't have my gifts. That's interesting. That's why you need my gifts. So these people that kept coming on my page, I felt their energy. I knew it was the same people, or the same person even. But I would trust them, because I wanted to connect with my twin. And they made me believe that he was too shy to come forward, and this is the only way that he could connect with me and talk to me. And so I let this person do this over and over and over and over again. Stupid. And then I'd get to the place where I finally realized what was going on, and I blocked them, got rid of them. And then they come back again. And as I got more and more aware, they changed their tactic. They got much more gentle with the way they would approach me. But I knew that they were lying to me. I know that you're lying to me. And when you lie to me, you're not coming from the light. Period. I don't care why you're lying to me. You're lying to me. And if you're lying to me, I'm not going to associate with you. Period. So they will say things to you like when you start to get on, catch on, you'll start talking about these kind of people, maybe to test the waters, right? And they'll say, do you get that feeling from me? Do you think I'm that way? And I've had that same question asked, and I have answered, no, otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you, because I just want to see what's going on. But they thought that they had gotten back in, right? In a different name, a different form. And I just thought, it's you again. So block, delete. And then the empath in me feels bad for doing that. Say it's a family member. There's a member in your family that you know is constantly the one that doesn't have the money, is always poor me, you know, recounting all the horrible things that happen, and they're always coming with the handout. There's always a reason, you know, that this happened to me, and they did this to me, and blah, 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 and you feel like you should help, and you feel like, you know, if I don't answer them, I feel bad, or like if somebody even on my page would leave a comment, right, and I know that this comment is meant to get a rise out of me. It's meant to make me feel stupid. It's meant to put me in my place, right? And yet I feel obligated that if I don't answer them, there's something wrong. Like there's something wrong with me. Like I'm not being loving. I'm not being kind. You know, wrong. This morning the same thing happened, and I thought about it for about 5 minutes, and then this came up, and I blocked the person immediately. Done. You're out. I went and I have blocked and unblocked people so many times I can't tell you. But the consistent thing about it is, if somebody is going to lie to me, I'm going to block you. Don't lie to me. I'm telling you. And then there are people like, well, I'm afraid. Like, why did you do that? I tell you, there's so many people in my family that have this. Step family, everything. Why did you lie? I don't know. They'll lie to your face. They won't bat an eye. They don't think twice about it. They lie. They'll talk shit behind your back. They'll talk shit behind everybody else's back, and then they'll suck up to you, and they'll be your best friend, and but what they're not really. They're just coming to get a fix off of you. They are junkies. They are intravenously tapping into you to suck you dry, and then when they're done, they leave. But the whole time they're there, you know there's something that's not right. It doesn't feel good. It's not a reciprocal energy, right? Like, if you were to go to ask them a question, they wouldn't answer you. You're writing to them. You're constantly reaching out. You're constantly the one that's trying to make this work. Attempt to be the better person, the bigger person. If you never contacted them, you'd never hear from them again, unless they realized you were getting strong. Then they would come back and they'd be like, wait a minute, where have they been? Hold on, I gotta get an energy fix. Right? And then they'll come back again, and you'll be flattered, or you'll think, oh, there they are. And then they'll come in and they'll tell you everything that they wanted to share with you, or you know, whatever it is for them. You know, basically they're coming, they want you to pat them on the back and tell them they've done a really good job. Oh, good job. Oh, that's amazing. They want praise. They need validation from other people. They are not capable of creating their own style, so they'll copy other people. They're not capable of creating their own energetic flow, so they have to suck off of other people's energy. So here they are again, coming back around again, you know, and now you even know it's the same one in your family, right? You even know, there they are, and you know that as soon as they get out everything that they needed to tell you, and you could tell them how wonderful they are, and yes, you look beautiful, and that's great, then you go to ask them something and they're gone. They're gone again. Where'd they go? They're gone. They're gone for God knows how long. Sometimes months, sometimes years, however long it takes until they recognize that you're moving on. You guys remember that I dated a spiritual person for a month, and I think it was a month and a half. It was a lesson. Spirit told me beforehand. Actually, it was just one of these people told me beforehand. It could have even been the same person. Somebody contacted me and knew all about this person, described them to me, what they'd look like, said, you're about to have this spiritual connection with someone. It's going to happen really quickly. It's going to be very, very, you're going to grow very quickly, both of you. It's going to be an amazing experience, and then it's going to end. And I said, well, why would I connect with somebody if it was just going to end? And they said, it ends because your twin soul comes back. And I'm like, no, they didn't say twin soul. They said twin flame. And I said, why would I get into a relationship with somebody else if I knew my twin flame was coming? Now, this time, that's when I thought that other person was my twin flame, this one who fed off of me. And so, anyway, I said I wasn't going to do it. And I talked to someone else, probably online listening right now, a friend of mine. And I said, why would I do that? Why would I connect with somebody only to know that pretty soon afterwards, my twin was going to come, and I was going to leave them broken and devastated? And the person said, well, what if it wasn't you that left them? What if they left you? And I said, why would they leave me? Why, right? Anyway, that's what happened. So I'm with this person, and it happened. I met him. He didn't. He wanted a lot of attention, and I said I was going to Sedona, and I thought the person lived in Sedona, and I said we should meet up for a hike. And the person said, "Oh no, I don't know, because I'm never single, and everybody wants me, and I'm not going to. I don't want to meet you." And I said, "Don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself. I don't want you. Believe me, I'm in a twin soul relationship." And I didn't say twin soul at the time. I said twin flame. There's a difference. And so I went to sleep that night. I woke up in the morning, and there was a message from this person. He says, "Yeah, come meet me." Why? Because I didn't want to meet him. So I went there, and it did happen just the way I was shown. In 3 minutes, now this person that I met had been completely drained, had everything sucked out of them, had been devastated by a very narcissistic ex-partner. Person had all kinds of issues. The person was an alcoholic, the person was a drug addict, the person was bulimic, anorexic, I mean, on and on it went. And this person literally had sucked the life out of this man. And I met this man, and he was such a gentle soul. And he was broken. Absolutely a shell of himself sitting in front of me. I could see that. The pictures that he showed of himself wasn't him. That's not who I met. I met this man that was trashed. And 3 minutes turned into 3 hours. It was fascinating. We had so much to talk about, everything. It was just, oh my God, oh my God. I went into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and this is amazing because I now know when my higher self is talking to me. It's pretty incredible. I go to wash my hands, and I look up in the mirror, and my eyes connect with my higher self, and my higher self says, "You leave this restaurant now. You leave now. You don't go in there and sit down and wait until he says, okay, I gotta go, you've been here a long time. For this time, you're leaving." And I'm like, okay, because it's true. When I'm in a place like that, I want to be there. I want to be around that energy. I want it. It was feeding me, right? What was feeding me wasn't the information he was giving me, because I was mostly talking. What it was that I had found somebody that was like me. And there was nobody like me that I had been able to connect with. It was like, oh my God, finally there's somebody who gets it, right? And we felt the same way. And so I said to him, I gotta go. I said, I got 6 hours ahead of me. I gotta get out of here. From that day forward, we never stopped texting each other until the day, several months after we broke up. So what happened was, when we came together, it was clearly two very empathic, spiritual people connecting. This man has so much love in him and so much knowledge. And he's been through a lot in his life. So have I. Empaths have had a fucked up life, I gotta tell you. And what happened was his ex, who had abused him, who had cheated on him over and over and over again, made him feel like shit, took everything from him. The man had hair down to his ass. When I met him, his hair had been cut because a brush got tangled in it. It literally was like, it was done. It was a psychic attack. She's done psychic attacks on me before too. And it was basically the showing you the story of Samson and Delilah. That's what it was. That man lost his hair. And for a Cherokee to lose their hair like that, that's their psychic antenna. That debilitated him. That was like a man losing his job, right? That did, not to mention she fucked him over left, right, and center and left him on like a pile of mush on the floor. And so I was on my way out to meet him. I was going to go see him out, and he lived several hours away from me. And I get a phone call, and he's crying. And he says, "I can't do this." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "I can't do this." I said, did I do something wrong? Because we did. We had a fight a week before. And I thought, oh, it's my fault. I got angry, and I said something I shouldn't. And it freaked him out, and he was breaking up with me. And because, of course, why? Because what's my issue? I'm a codependent. I have, I have abandonment issues, right? So I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to leave. He's going to leave. And I found this perfect person that's just like me, and now he's going to leave because I lost my temper, which is what the narcissist will do to you. That's what they will do. They'll control you, and they'll punish you. They'll abuse you by giving you the silent treatment. They'll go away from you. That's what my mother did my whole life, the silent treatment, right? I'd rather have you scream at me than give me the silent treatment because I know what you're doing. That's a narcissistic abuse of control. So he's crying and he's saying, I can't do this. And I said, what are you talking about? Did I do something wrong? And he goes, no, I did. And I said, what? And he said, my soulmate came back. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? He wasn't supposed to leave me. I was supposed to leave because my twin soul was going to come. My twin flame, remember? The flame that burned me, remember? So I'm completely a basket case. I'm a complete emotional mess. I don't understand what's going on. I go, why would you go back to her? Why would you go back to her? Look what, and it wasn't the first time she had done this to him. She'd done this several times. And he said, she's my soulmate. And it's interesting because as a spiritual person, when you have a connection with somebody like this, you feel obligated. I did, because I did all of this shit for the one in the back past, because I thought, well, that's my twin flame. So because that was my twin flame, I put up with all of this bullshit. And I couldn't move forward with my life, even though that person could do anything they wanted and never gave anything back to me. I couldn't do that because I was honorable. So I was thinking I was standing in my honor, and I was being a better person because I was going to remain loyal to this one, even when they didn't do that for me. And I'm here to tell anybody who thinks they're in a twin soul relationship or a twin flame or a twin ray or whatever, you need to love yourself more than you love that person, or you're going to have a nightmare of a time. Learn from my experience. So he breaks off with me, and he says, I love you. And I said, how can you tell me you love me? You don't love me. How can you love me and go back to this person? And he said, I do love you. And I thought, I was so angry and so confused. And then he said something to me. He said, and the day before, my girlfriend, who is also very gifted, wrote to me, and she said a name. I won't say it out loud, but she said a name. She goes, I keep getting this name for you. Does that mean anything to you? And I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to talk about him. He's an asshole. And she's like, well, I just keep getting this name in reference to you. So then this guy says to me, don't you have a soulmate? Now remember, soulmate. Soulmates can be karmic. Soulmates, we all have lots of soulmates. My son's a soulmate of mine, right? Tony was a soulmate of mine. Jake was a soulmate of mine. Erica's a soulmate of mine. Kimmy's a soulmate of mine. Notice I didn't say the name of the one. That's so funny. So he said to me, hun, don't you have a soulmate named so-and-so? And I said, why are you bringing him up? I don't want to talk about him. He's an asshole. And he goes, you need to contact him. And I said, I don't want to contact him. I contact him, and he fucking disappears on me all the time. He just takes off. I'm done with him. I'm done with him, right? So there's the confusion between the one that was a really working narcissist back there that was controlling me, and then this one that was doing the same type of thing. So you're thinking, are they the same individual, right? They're doing the same thing. I didn't want to talk to this guy. But that person had a part of my soul. And I'm crying, and he said, look, you're gifted, right? Spirit speaks to you. He says, Spirit speaks to me too. And they're telling you, you need to contact this person. So I did. The last time I had talked to him had been 6 months previous. Actually, I don't think I talked to him. I think I wrote to him, and he didn't bother writing back. And so I wrote to him. And I said something to him that was quite inflammatory, actually. It was obviously to get his attention. And it was sexual, what I said. It was something not I wasn't like offering sex. I was just saying I've learned about something. And I went to bed. I cried myself to sleep. I went to bed. I was devastated. What was going on was that person had been living somewhere else. And the whole while, as long as that man was single, she was fine, right? She still had control of him. She probably contacted him every once in a while, which I wouldn't have known about. But as long as he was alone, she was safe. But all of a sudden, he got into a relationship with me, and he publicized it. It was all over the internet. It caused a big stir when we got together, right? Because there were two very strong spiritual people coming together from two different areas, and people were like, wow, we know both of them, and now they're together. It was amazing, because the work that we could do together was just was amazing. And it wasn't about us. It was for spirit. And what I found so wonderful about this person was he's shy. And he didn't want, I felt, I said we should do videos. We could do so well together, you know, talking about what we know, and he didn't want to do that. So I continued to grow. I continued to learn. And he went back to this person. She came back. She married him. They may go so far as to marry you, to stop you from leaving. If they think that you are finding or you're going to leave them, they may go that far. So she married him. And then she did the same thing and left him, went through him again like a cyclone. So I called that person. I contacted that person. I didn't call them. I left them a message. And that person showed up the next day. We talked all night long. And it was a reconnection again. And I was just like, oh my God. And everything I was shown about, you know, I was shown what my twin would look like when he came. And that's what he was. And there he was. And oh my God. And that was the person who said he didn't want me to hug him if I was going to take his energy, right? But this person notoriously just disappears too, right? Gives you a little bit and then pulls it away, takes it away from you. So I think about the devil and Jesus. I think about the song, even Superman unfurls a cape before he lifts. I don't see myself upon that list, right? Tells the story. I've been reading books of old, legends, and the stories about all these famous people, all these superheroes. I don't see myself that way. But the girl says, I don't want a superhero. I want somebody just like this. I want a real empath. I want a real, gentle, loving soul like you. You don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to have a shitload of money. You know, you don't have to have any of that. There's a difference between that. The ones that are on a large spiritual platform that want everybody's accolades and want everybody's attention. I've gone to these people myself and asked for their help when I was under psychic attack. And I've had people write to me and say, would you please ask my mother to come to me? Would you please? And I will, what I say to them is, there's nobody that could call your mother to you faster than you. You don't need me to do that. I'm not here to do that. That's your mom. You think your mom's going to come to me before she comes to you? You don't need me. But these people won't teach you how a true spiritual teacher, a true empath, a true person who gives a shit about anybody else will show you how to help yourself. Jesus didn't just feed everybody constantly so that they kept coming back for more. That's what I watched in my dreams. This one that has this other one that they're so attached to that they feel is probably their twin soul. They keep coming to them for a handout. And they keep giving to them again and again and again. Well, you're not learning very much, are you? And neither are they. But you're the one who didn't learn. Teach them how to do it themselves. If I teach you to fish, you can fish. If I bring you a fish, you're waiting for me to bring it back. You need to learn this yourself, which is why my real twin stepped aside. He pulled away because I needed to learn this by myself. I was shown the story. There were two. They knew each other. Long, old school. They knew each other back in school. They never got together. They were just friends, always. But finally they got together. And when they did, he had to go away. He went and did his work and she went and did her work. And I thought, what a ripoff, you know? And that's what twins actually do, real twins. We work on our own paths, but we're traveling the same path, but we do it separately. We can't, for some reason with spiritual twins, we can't be in the same house together learning the same. We have to learn our own lessons. And it's generally, unfortunately, through karmic soulmates, the other connections that we wouldn't establish if we were together. While I was split from my twin soul, I watched this other one called the Mermaid. They called her a mermaid too. I watched her. She wore a mermaid outfit in something. I don't know if it was Halloween or if it was a play or why, but I saw her dressed as a mermaid and I thought, she's not the mermaid. She's the siren. I'm the mermaid. I'm the mermaid. This one, there's a difference between mermaids and sirens. Mermaids get blamed for doing, and see, that's the thing. Somebody now who has been taken advantage of like this by a narcissist, a spiritual narcissist, or just a narcissistic lover, family member, friend, they now have been groomed by those people, but they don't trust anybody now, right? Because, and the ones that are in their family, they still have a hold of them, or their lover, they still have a hold of them I kept getting that Pam Leach person still has a hold of him. And they've got their tentacles stuck inside of them still, and even from a distance, even from, you could be months, years later, they know how to get them. They know how to get that heel, to your Achilles heel. They know what it is, and they attach to them. And so I'm watching this one, and what I watched was how now they will convince this one that's under their control. What is it called? That syndrome, I wrote it down. Stockholm syndrome, right? They'll tell that person to beware of you. They're after your money. They want your money, or they're going to drain your energy, or they want to take from you. You need to be careful of them. And so now they all team up, right? My twin soul and his little crew, who has him under their control, they team up against me. That's a siren. That's a siren, right? Siren is the one that goes and sinks the fishermen at sea. Who's the ones that save the fishermen when they go down is the mermaid. And yet they get confused between a mermaid and a siren, right? A mermaid mermaid knows how to swim. They're going to help. They help everyone. They will even help the narcissist. And that's what I was doing. I knew who they were. I knew that it was them. I knew they were back. But I thought, I'm not going to hate them. I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to love them. And I wrote, when I cut this person off the last time, I said to them, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. I don't know why. The only thing that I can imagine, I said, I can't imagine that you are purposely trying to fuck my life up and hurt me. But if you are, you must be so desperately in need of love. And I am capable of understanding that and giving compassion, but I am not okay with liars. And I'm not here to be your spiritual doormat or your spiritual IV bag. And we're done. And I blocked them. And they thought, fuck. You know, when I wrote them that, they didn't say anything. They didn't know what to say. And then they wrote back and they said, you feel this way about me? I'm only here to help. And it hurts me to think that you feel this way about me. And I want to thank you. You've really helped me a lot over the last couple of years. Yeah, I did. I fed them so much information so that they could use that information against me and my twin soul. Oh my God. Because why? Because I thought I was talking to him. I honestly did. I honestly thought I was talking to him. I thought he just doesn't know how to contact me. He doesn't know how to reach me. Not that he doesn't know how, but he feels like I'm not going to allow him back. So he doesn't reach out. So this is the only way he can do it. No, he wouldn't do that. And I kept getting in my head. What I kept saying in my head was, I could see this one doing it, but I couldn't see him doing that. I just couldn't see that being done by this person because he doesn't have to go in the back door to get me, right? That person had never tried to take from me. That person had never tried. And now you can turn it, I gotta stop right now because they can work that too. They can just be the ones that just come forward and then withdraw. And they keep you there. And the only time they ever come forward is if, they're coming through town and, they need a fix. And I'll get it from that one. I need a little attention. And when it's gone from them, they don't like that. It's the typical situation since boys and girls were in elementary school. If you give him a ton of attention, you're going to scare him, he's going to run away. If you ignore him, he'll come running after you. It's the hunter complex, right? It's just what it is. But then there's the ones that take it too far. And so you're wondering, how do I differentiate between you and them? Well, there's got to be proof. There's got to be evidence, right? So what they will do is these ones, they're not true empaths. They will befriend the empath to confuse them, get them disconnected. And once they're distracted, they're off their spiritual path. And they're not following true guidance. They're not able to tap in truthfully to spirit, to their higher self. They're now tapping into a distorted view. I just got contacts, different kind of contacts. They weren't working, the ones that I got. Everything was blurry at a distance and everything was blurry up close. And he said to me, well, I wish you would try monovision, And I said, what are you talking about? This eye doctor, he's a narcissist. I pegged him right away. What he does is he doesn't take the blame or for anything that he's done. If he's done something wrong, he will put it on somebody else or put it back on you. So what he does, he said he did it again. So I wish, you would take these mono lenses or whatever. And I said, what is that? I don't know what that is. You've never told me about those. And he goes, yeah, I did. I told you a long time ago, but you said you didn't want them. And this is what they'll do. This is the Kung Fu thing, right? And you're like, did he tell me that? And because, of course, you don't want to believe this guy's just a flat-out liar, right? You don't believe that because you want to believe the best in people. And so you're thinking, well, maybe you just didn't remember. But I knew. And so I'm looking at this person going, no. And I said, why would I tell you no a long time ago about contacts? I wasn't getting contacts. I was getting glasses. And he said to me, well, if you had monovision, because I kept saying to him, it doesn't make sense to me. Why do people get contacts if they're not going to be able to read? That doesn't make sense to me, or they're not going to be able to see. He says, you're never going to have really clear vision with contacts. You just aren't. And I'm like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. So I went in and I said, I said, I'm wearing my contacts and I'm wearing my cheaters, and now I'm able to see. So I need you to up the prescription in my reading. And he goes, I can't do that because if I up the prescription in your reading, it's going to distort the vision. And he says, but if you would get monovision, what we do is we give you one contact for up close and one contact for distance. And I said, how does that work? And he says, your brain adjusts. Your brain knows. Like right now, my left contact, this is my left side, I don't know what it looks like on your screen, is for up close. My right one is for distance. So when I first put them in, I had to consciously pay attention to what I was doing, right? And I was thinking, okay, left, read, right, distance, right? But eventually, if you keep putting them in the same case, and I've got a case, I don't have it here, I was going to show you. You put L and R, so you don't mix them up, right? So he says, so I said, why didn't you do that in the first place? Because this is now the third time I've gone back for different glasses, different lenses, different contact lenses. And I said, why didn't you just start with that? And he said, because you didn't want it. You said you didn't want it. No, I never did. We never had that discussion, ever. But I didn't say that to him because I wanted to get what I wanted, right? So here I'm getting a message from Spirit. I understand why you did what you did. So the one who finally figures out what's going on, they start playing along with this one, right? Because they're going to catch them at their own game. So, and they want something out of it. So I wanted the contacts. So I didn't want to piss this guy off, even though I knew he wasn't taking the blame. I didn't realize until after I left why he didn't tell me about the monovision. They're a third less expensive than plain contacts. So he wasn't going to lead with that. He wasn't going to start with that because they'd only be making this much money. But if it worked the other way, if I would fall for it the other way, I would be paying 3 times the amount that I would pay with the monovision. And I thought, you piece of shit. First of all, you lied. Second of all, you made me feel stupid, you blamed me and made me feel like I had done something wrong. And third, you're just a dishonest prick, period. And you fucked up my eyes and it caused me a lot of problems, right? So I got what I wanted, but I know who this guy is. He also showed me who he is in my twin soul's life. He also showed me this person emulates the person who molested my daughter. And this person molested the person who groomed my twin, is what I'm watching. This person who is the control freak, the very gifted individual, was molested. And because they were hurt, they have now learned how to manipulate and control other people in order for them to not get hurt. This man molested my daughter, and then he would sit on the back porch and read the Bible out loud. What, to assuage his guilt? I have no idea. How could you live with yourself? You know? So after, there was 3 weeks that the man was around my life after I kicked him out. And he denied having done what he did the whole time. And I said, it doesn't matter, this is my daughter. I'm choosing my daughter, period. And I thought, here goes my life, right? This is like, I thought this guy was a gift from God. I really did. Everyone loved him. He was my best friend. We hung out together. He was so fun. Taught my son how to play the guitar. Took my son, who was in a really dark place, out of this dark place, right? But my daughter hated him from the second we were together. And it was weird. I never understood. We always blamed her. She was lying about stuff. We always would blame her, right? Why are you being so mean to him? Everyone loves him. He's good to everyone. He's so kind to you. Ha, I had no idea. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out if he did this. So he was blaming her. He was saying, well, you know how she lies. But the way he did it was this. Poor Lisi. Oh, God. Poor Lisi. You know, it must be so horrible being hurt, you know, to feel that she needs to do this, right? And I'm thinking, you piece of shit. So I sat there and I was smart about it. And I would look up all this stuff on the internet, right, about this. And I said to him every day for 3 weeks, I can forgive you. She could even forgive you. God definitely could forgive you. But God will never forgive you if you are lying and blaming her for something that you have done. He will never forgive you. You will fucking rot in hell. And there is no hell, I just meant you'll just fucking rot. And he finally, after 3 weeks, cracked. Because he knew I knew. And he admitted it. He admitted what he had done to her. But he had tried to, this little girl that was so hurt and so upset, was running away, getting into trouble and lying and causing all, because she was angry and she was like, I can't trust anybody, right? I can't trust anybody. Well, this piece of shit that came to me on my page that's connected to someone I know, they gave themselves away twice. And it was, wow. I was like, wow, I know who you are. My twin and I only call each other by a certain name. And this person, I told them what happened when I ran into him and what he did. And the person said to me, well, that didn't go down the way it was supposed to go down. And I said, how do you know? What are you talking about? And he said, you didn't, oh, it's a man. See, I knew it was. Okay. He said, and see, this person was talking to me as a female. He said, you weren't supposed to act that way. And I said, what was I supposed to do? Because I walked away, right? And he said, cry. You showed in front of his friends, they saw the truth of who he was, right? And the truth of who you were. Basically, you ripped his mask off. And I said, how do you know that? And the person goes, I know, I've been there. And I thought, well, if you were a female, how would you know how a man does that? And then I said something else, and the person slipped. And they said, this is someone who lives in a different country, supposedly doesn't know him, right? Nothing about him. Says to me, when I said something about something that was really awful, the person said, poor babe. And I'm like, what did you just say? But I didn't say that. I just let them go on. And I thought, you know him. You're him. You're the one who did this to him. You piece of fucking shit. Wow. And so this person thought they were playing me for a really long time, right? I knew who they were the whole time. I just wanted to see how far they were going to go. I just wanted to see, but it was stupid for me to do that because it allowed that person to get even more into my energy. And what it was really doing is it was distracting me. That's what Spirit would say to me, right? I'm doing my readings with clients or with other people or whatever, myself, and I kept getting the same message. You know better. You know better, and you keep trying to talk yourself out of something. You keep trying to talk yourself into believing that this is a decent person because I connected with that person energetically. I thought I felt the good energy in that person. I felt that energy. I said to that person, I like you. I even said I loved that person at one time for something they had done. They're good. They're so good. Just like the one who molested my daughter. Everyone loved him. Everyone. Old people, young people, right? My parents loved him. That guy was a piece of shit who had been molested by his father and many people when he was a child. And instead of learning from that, I was molested too. Everybody in my family, all the girls way back, have been molested. You can either choose to allow that to cripple you and not move forward and feel sorry for yourself, or you can realize that you're not going to give that piece of shit your power. I don't even think twice about it. I never think twice about it. Ever. That person never had control of my mind, ever. I never felt unworthy. I never felt nothing. My problem was I was raised in a family with all alcoholic men. So the women were codependent, right? So I'm constantly trying to fix everybody. I'm the fixer. So that's another thing the empath will do, right? We're trying to fix this one that's broken. No, we can't fix anyone. We need to fix ourselves. So there's that song. I don't know the name of it. And the person says, I'm not staying here. I can't fix you. I need to protect myself, right? From you and from everybody else. So we need to detach. These people, by allowing me to talk to them and by allowing them to they were distracting me from my work. They were taking away my peace. They were stealing my peace. They were taking my precious energy. And they were taking information that I was willingly giving them to turn it against my own twin and hurt him by making him think that I was the one that was doing these things. Because they had enough information. How would they know? How would they know that, right? And then the other day the person said he doesn't trust anyone. And I said, he trusts me. He trusts me. He knows I love him. He trusts me. He doesn't trust anyone else. But does he trust anyone? I don't know. All I know is nobody comes into my arena that has proven themselves to hurt me without proving themselves to have changed and understood the difference between then and now, and who I was then and who I am now. So Spirit says how we don't want to make anybody feel bad, right? Nobody wants to hurt another person. And so we get sucked in by, I have so many mirrors. My twin said in my head, if you can't hear me, you're going to have to deal with the people on Facebook. And I thought, I wonder what that means. I couldn't, for a long time, understand what that meant. I used to be able to connect with him energetically, just in my head. I could hear him. I could see him. I could hear him. I knew when he was coming in and out of town. I felt his energy. But then about 3 weeks after he left, it was gone. Somebody got a hold of him. And the mermaid, the fake mermaid. And so you watch these ones go through, and it sucks when you know, it's all of us. You know, people that have a family member that's in a cult. And you're thinking, God, why can't they see what's going on, right? Like my family, who was trying to get me out of the Jehovah's Witness organization when I wouldn't leave it. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't there by choice. I was an empathic child who spoke to the animals as a little girl. My mother married a Jehovah's Witness when I was 8. And I was taken away from my forest and away from my animals and away from my language. And you know what sucks? Is I gave this person my animal's name. I have one name, that one word that I was able to retain. And it's the name of my dog. And there's only 2 people I told that name to. Another person whose child has that same gift, he knew the name. And I told this person, I said, this is a very special name. It's a very sacred name. There's only one person that they come and they know that name. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't even know if you gave it to the right person. You think it was your twin, but what if it wasn't? What if it was that person? And now they know that name. But the thing is, it won't do them any good. It doesn't do them any good, because even as a child, when I had that language, I could talk to the animals, like talk to the animals, like literally, like my cat and I would be having, I would have cat conversation, or I would have dog conversation, I would have deer conversation, whoever my messengers were in the forest, I would speak to them. And whenever my brother or cousins, they thought it was really cool and they wanted to copy the language because it sounded really neat. What I would do is what I did was I gave all of them names, my family members and people close to me. What I was doing is I was naming them in my star language. And they thought it was just nicknames. And so my brother's friends would come and they would say, what does she call me? What does she call me? They if somebody didn't have a nickname, it bothered them, right? And so when the boys would try to copy my language, I would change the dialect. Because if they didn't, I knew, I don't know why I knew, but if they didn't understand it, there was a reason they didn't understand it. And they weren't supposed to have it. So I changed the dialect. So I've talked this story. I told you guys about this before, how my mom took me to Dr. Mesri, who's a homeopathic doctor, and said, Sherry's, he says, what's going on now? Because, the first thing was my brother was peeing on me because he was so jealous of me. And now she says, no, it's not Greg, it's Sherry. She's talking in another language. And he says, oh, it's probably baby talk. And she said, nope, it's not. Because whenever her brother or cousins try to copy her words, she changes the dialect. She's done it. She talks complete different language. So when I was awakening and I was connecting to all my spiritual connections on Facebook, is where I mostly met people, I would meet people that had gifts. I met a psychic. She was now get this. This woman was a psychic. The one who came to me originally, she dated my ex-husband. And he said, you got to meet this girl, because my ex-husband and I were friends. You got to meet this person. She knows all about you. She knows about the guy. She knows about everything. So I went to her. I was scared, but I went to her. I wanted to see what she knew, because I wanted to know what was going on with me and this guy. She did. She knew things. Her mother was a Cherokee. She had Cherokee bloodline, and they were mediums, and her grandmother was a medium as well. She came from a line. But this person was nasty. This person was a spiritual empath. She was a bitch. She was mean. She made people feel bad about themselves, and we disconnected. Our last time we got together, I said to her, I don't know I don't know what's coming out of you or why it's coming out of you, but there was a dove sitting on the railing above, on the power line above me, and she made some comment, and she said, my birds even came to escort you off my property and tell you to leave. And I said, your birds didn't come, my birds came. Those are my pets, and they're telling me I need to protect myself from you, and this is the end. This person, and I watched her, she doesn't really do her work much anymore, not really doing her work, but she was gifted. She was able to see. She read tarot cards. She got people's names. She was gifted. Well, this same person, I've connected with these people again and again, and I'm telling you, when I connected with the spiritual people, I thought, well, she knows how. She can see spirit. She can see angels. She gets people's names. She gets things. She's accurate. What she said that was going to happen to me happened. She foretold the future. I was like, oh my God. No, she didn't. Spirit gave her what I needed to have her given. What I needed I needed to get enough from her that I would be convinced so that I could go on my spiritual path and do what I needed to do. Right? Spirit, you've heard of the Heyoka, right? A Heyoka is a shaman. They're the trickster. They'll get you to do something by tricking you. They're not bad people. They are very, very high. They're very, very aware. They will never name themselves. They will never say that they are Heyoka. They are very humble, but they are teachers. They are the sage. And I thought, I don't know who to trust, right? I don't know who to trust. I feel like if I'm going to somebody who has gifts like this, they must be from spirit. And it's all a learn and stumble, and that's why I'm talking about this, because it gets confusing, right? So as I was going back to Wisconsin, and I was on my path, and everything was happening, opening up, and I was mad because I thought, well, how come I don't get to see angels? How come I don't get to hear spirit? How come I can't tell the future? Well, I can, because I had prophetic dreams. That was the one thing I got. Another gift I had was, it didn't matter what I did. The card that I chose was the right card. Always. And I didn't know why. I know. Because my hands are guided by my highest self. I have a gift. That's my gift. I didn't know why. And I thought, well, that's cool, but that kind of sucks that that's all I get, right? How come I don't get to hear spirit and I don't get to hear? So I didn't realize, I did have an experience, and I did hear spirit, but I hadn't seen them until I was supposed to leave Wisconsin, and I didn't want to leave because the one who kept running away and coming back and running away and coming back finally got back, and I didn't want to leave, and I said, I'm not going to go. And I knew spirit wanted me to go. And so I decided I was going to stay, because I'm addicted to this person, right? Because he's intravenously got his IV stuck right into my heart. And it was really weird, because it wasn't like the person was ever nice to me. He was never my friend, right? He's always made me feel like shit. Stupid, embarrassed, told everybody I was a stalker. And I made a fool of myself over this person because I thought he was my twin soul. Stupid. So I wasn't going to go. And then Archangel Michael showed up in my room. And I'm telling you, he fucking showed up in my room. And I thought I was going to die. It scared me. It scared me so bad I thought I was going to die. And that was my first experience seeing him. And he only said one word to me. Not one word. It was one sentence, but I always say one word. I think it's because he didn't open his mouth. He said, you're going to Sedona. And I said, okay. Wasn't going to argue. And then I heard my guides. And what's so interesting about hearing my guides is I heard one female voice, but I always say that's when I heard the guides. There were two of them there, but I only heard one of them. I didn't see either one of them, but I knew two were there. How did I know? So one of them said when she leaves her cat behind, which was Liger. And I said, I had promised Liger I would never leave him again because he almost died. And I opened my eyes and I said, no, I'm not leaving him. and they were gone. Everyone was gone. And I went into the bathroom, and that was my first experience of arguing with my higher self. I looked into the mirror and I was brushing my teeth. My roommate was in the house. She must have thought I was insane. I mean, a lot of people did. I'm brushing my teeth and I'm saying, I am not leaving him. You cannot make me leave him. I promised him I wouldn't leave him. I am not leaving him. And I was screaming at me. So what ended up happening? I had to leave him, right? I went to Sedona, and he had to stay behind, and he was tortured while I was gone. It was awful. And so Michael showed up on the plane on the way there, and he showed up when I moved back to California in his angel form. Archangel Metatron has shown up for me. So I've gotten those gifts, but I've never gotten my language back, which I think sucks. I want my language back, but it took me a long time to understand that if I'd had my language, it would be cool for me and the animals to talk, but it wouldn't help anybody else. But if I would learn what the animal messengers meant, I could teach everybody. And everybody would understand when Spirit was trying to talk to them. If they were struggling, if they were scared, if they felt alone, and a freaking praying mantis came and landed on their hand, they would know. Go to Google and type in praying mantis totem. There is a message coming to you straight from God. It is straight from Spirit. Don't fucking smash that fly that's in your room. It's giving, the one that keeps going around your head. God, stop. Why is that? Look it up and figure out why it's happening. Don't kill your messengers. Right? They're there to help you. They're there to guide you. You will never get such precise, clear guidance as when an animal messenger comes to you, because they can't be controlled by other spiritual people, quasi-spiritual people. The people that mind fuck you. The people that come to you under the cloak of what do they say? The devil walks the ground like a roaring lion, seeking to devour, because he knows his time is short. And that's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter. I'm not Bible thumping. I'm telling you, the goddess energy, which is love, love is the only thing that's going to heal this planet. It will heal this planet. And the dark energy is scared fucking shitless. They are scared of me. They're afraid of me. Those people, I'm not afraid of them. They know I'm not afraid of them. I was before. I was worried that they were going to hurt my twin. I was so scared. I spent 5 years. I spent 5 years crying, terrified, worried because of what I watched happening, because I was getting mind fucked. Not understanding that I'm capable of taking care of myself, and so is he. He doesn't need me to take care of him. He is powerful. He is way powerful. Now, when somebody falls off their path, one keeps moving forward, one will go a little higher. We kind of go like this, right? We take turns. It's like in any partnership. Sometimes the husband is strong and he's got it together, and the wife's falling apart. Sometimes your husband comes home and he's like a child. He's like crying, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And you've got to be the man, right? I've had to be the man in every relationship I've ever been in. I've been the man in my relationship since I was a little girl, since my father left us. I have been the divine masculine. What I needed to learn is how to be the divine feminine. I needed to learn that I don't need to be in control. I don't need to be angry. I don't need to fight. Love is what fixes everything. It heals everything. And I can love from a distance. I can say, I understand what happened to you, and I know why you did that. I get it. And I forgive you, but you're not back in my life. There's no way in hell I'm going to let a narcissistic asshole attach to me and pull my energy. I will break my own heart before I fall off my path. I will never leave my path. And when my twin soul showed up, I asked Father, what's going on? Because I was shown a time frame. I knew when he was coming back. I was given a time frame. But when that year came, year 4 came, I watched him, and he said, he was riding his bike in a dream, and he said, I'm going to go down this cul-de-sac. I know it's a dead-end street, but I just got to go there. And I said, no, don't go. He was going back to that one that had always thrown him away, right? The one that he just couldn't get. The one that didn't give a shit about him, right? Until he was going away and found his true twin. And then they came in, when he went back that cul-de-sac, he crashed. So he's down in that cul-de-sac. He knew it was a dead-end street. I heard him say, and I don't know if this is him. I'll take that back. I'll regress until I have him in front of me to tell me that or not. Because he could be watching me doing the same, right? This person said, I'm going to marry her. And I said, why would you do that? You don't love her. And they said, my family expects it. And we've been friends forever. I know it's going to be a disaster, but I'm going to do it. And it was a disaster, wasn't it? So no matter what people tell you to do, no matter what your family expects of you, the narcissistic, even the spiritual teachers, spiritual narcissists, they'll guilt you. They'll tell you you're doing the right thing. All I can see is the Jonestown massacre. All those people that killed themselves to follow that leader. There was a bunch of people in Sedona recently that killed themselves too, following this asshole. This guy was 32 years old, really good looking, had a lot of money, and everyone was following him. I don't want followers, and I will never follow anyone, ever. And that's what I learned being a Jehovah's Witness. So there was something good that I would learn there. Because religion and cults and these spiritual narcissistic leaders, they form followings. And you get your own sticker and your own shirt and your own hat. I almost did that. I almost had a sweatshirt made that said the Angel's Whisper on the back. And I thought, it wasn't about me. It was about the angels. I thought it was just really cool. Yeah, it is about you. Yeah, it is about you. Because you're the one who's called the Angel's Whisper. It's about you. It has nothing to do with you. This isn't your message. You're being shown what to say. I mean, look at me talking. I didn't think I'd be able to get this out. I was so freaking nervous before I started this. I didn't think I'd be able to remember. I probably haven't remembered half of it. But I'm able to say what I need to say because my higher self takes over, right? I will tell you that the person who did this, who has come between my spiritual twin and myself, they live on the corner of Love and Puffin Avenue. And I thought, oh my God. And it showed me what it meant. The Puffin, that's my spiritual twin. And it sucks because I battle with myself because often I see him as very, very innocent, very gullible, very naive, very trusting. But then I see him extremely powerful, very, very intelligent, very successful. And I think, how can I reconcile those two? That doesn't make sense to me. But I said to him at the time as well, when he was struggling with he and I said, you're trying to reconcile the differences between my life and your life, aren't you? My lifestyle and your lifestyle. And he said, wow, you understand. I didn't understand anything. I meant he's jet setting all around the world, you know, living this lavish lifestyle, and I freaking had just walked away from everything, and I'm living in a room, right, as a spiritual teacher. That's what I meant. He thought, I understood that you're not going to fit in my world won't fit in your world. Like we run in completely different circles. And the thing is, he needed to leave that world. He needed to come back to the spiritual world. So I am innocent. I am naive. I am gullible. I'm also extremely intelligent. I work for myself. I take care of myself. No man takes care of me. Spirit takes care of me, right? Think about why you're doing what you're doing. We need to learn balance. I needed to learn balance. I needed to learn when I was giving too much of myself to my spiritual work, when I was losing myself in somebody else's life, when I couldn't even remember who I was. All of a sudden, I wasn't even doing my spiritual work. I was promoting music, and it was completely different. I lost myself completely in somebody else's life. Where was I? Where was I? You know, it's kind of like you can bring it right down to basic as far as a mom, right? You're young girl, and you get married, the love of your life, and you have a family. Now you've got your first baby, and before you got together, you were very successful. You might have been a lawyer, you might have been a school teacher, who knows what you were doing. You could have been a vet, right? But then you get married, and you've got kids, and you need to stay home with your kids, and so that you shift your, because now the most important person for you is this child. You need to take care of this child. You need to nurture and be a mother to this child. So you put on a different hat, right? Now you've got the mom hat. You got the wife hat already. You had the vet hat, but now you're the wife hat and now the mom hat. And then you spend your whole life raising these kids, but if you don't have a sense of balance, you start living your life through your kids. Then you start putting pressure on your kids to live your life according to the way you want them to live their life, because you didn't get to do that when you were a kid. So you start controlling your kids. I didn't, but I had that happen to me. And so I made very, very sure that I never did that to my children. Ever. When my kids got to the age where they were old enough to live on their own, when they were 17, 18, whatever they chose to do, that's their choice. And even when it was really bad and they were really getting hurt, I supported them. All I said was, I love you, I'm here for you. I was called every name in the book, I was cussed out, I was horrible things, but I didn't tell my kids what to do. But some people do. Some people lose themselves, and then their kids grow up and they go away, and all of a sudden they don't even know who they are anymore. And then their husband says, okay, I'm done. I've been having an affair for the last 6 months, and now that the kids are gone, he stayed there for the kids, but now that the kids are gone, there's really no reason for us to be together because we have nothing in common, because you've thrown everything of yourself into your kids. You've been you're going to soccer games, and you've been the soccer mom, and you've been doing all of that. Your husband you never have sex with your husband, so he's been having an affair for the last 3 years, and by the time, so he's out. So all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, what the hell? What happened to me? What happened to my dreams? What happened to my goals? It can happen to spiritual people too. I got off my path. And I remember in my dreams, this one coming to me, and they said, what happened? And I said, I don't know. You tell me what happened. And they said, I fell off my path. Fell off my path. And the person that I was dating that time, he told me, he purposely made himself go back to sleep. He's done it. He knew what he was doing when he did it. He chose to do it. He told me. He said, I've done it twice before. And I said, why would you do that? And you know what you're doing. Why would you do that? Because he wanted something. He wanted something that he couldn't have if he stayed on his path. One is, I chose to go back to sleep because I didn't want people to make fun of me. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted approval from other people. So I chose to go back to sleep, which means I shut my gifts off. I didn't want to deal with it. Some people have been really, really abused. They've been freaking sent to mental hospitals by their family, by their husbands, by their mom. They've taken over their businesses. They've taken over their bank accounts. They don't even get to make any decisions without this one saying it's okay. They have to get to the place where they secretly get strong enough on their own, working with spirit, so that they can go and have a doctor's visit on their own without the family member there, where the doctor, and then they got to go back into the mental ward where the doctor will then observe them and give them a free bill of health saying, okay, they're free to go, they're clear. Then they finally get their own fucking life back because their family, their husband, their mother, their brother had them committed. Because why? Because they had a lot of money. They wanted control of their money. They could never make the money on their own. Remember the mom that was living their life through their kid? The mom that had the beautiful child that was, the model and made all the money for the family, lived off the kid, but now the kid finds somebody that, is an adult now. Hello, they're an adult. But, I'm just trying to protect them because they're very special. Yeah, they're very special and they're protected by God. They don't need you to protect them by controlling them and by manipulating them. So what they've done now is now they're going to send you to a mental hospital and then they'll threaten you. And what happens when someone like me is taken into a place and they're forced to take a drug? There's nothing wrong with my brain. My brain is very connected to spirit. My mind is open to spirit. But when you put a drug into my brain, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to think I'm going crazy because my brain was fine. You have now made me unbalanced. I was balanced before, but you didn't understand that because you don't know what spirit is. You think that we're crazy. Remember, I'm friends with the monster. I'm friends with the monster. I'm okay with the voices in my head. I know who's talking to me. You obviously don't know who's talking to you on the outside, right? So it's not me that's crazy, it's you. It's you. And everybody is awakening. And so now the lion is getting really, really nervous because now the ones that were hunted are no longer afraid. We're no longer afraid. It's become more accepted nowadays, right? In the olden days, it wasn't accepted. Unless you were you were a native and it was cool to be, a medicine man or a medicine woman, right? But in cultures where it's not understood, or in your little small podunk town, right? Nobody wants anyone to know what their gifts are because they're going to think they're nuts, so they hide them. And if you bring them out, don't tell anybody. I'm going to tell everybody you're a stalker because I don't want anybody knowing I have what you have. And what's the problem here? That I went there to awaken people. I went there to wake people up. I went there to say, I know that you think I'm a nut. I don't care. Those people in that town welcomed me with open arms. The gold carpets unrolled for me, the red carpets unrolled for me. I was welcome. I know that many of them thought I was a nut. Many of them still do think I'm a nut. However, a lot more of them, after I left that little town and went on to Sedona, started to write to me privately and said, I wish I'd gotten to know you when you were here. I wish I'd taken advantage of having the ability that there was somebody else in this town that was like me, but I didn't want anyone to know. Right? And it's like now there's people in that town that they're right out there in the open. There's a street, 3rd Avenue. It's a tiny little town. There's a shop that opened up on 3rd Avenue. She says she gets threats all the time by people, right? She's got her cards. She doesn't want to put them on the shelf because she gets threats. And I said, you put them out. You put them out. You don't be afraid of them, right? I wasn't afraid of anyone. I don't care what you think of me. You want to think I'm a nut? That's fine. You're missing out on something fucking amazing. And you're missing out on learning, right? And if you push away your gifts like that, that's insulting. God knows. God looks at you and says, you're not crazy. You're talented. You're gifted. I gave you those gifts. Don't you be throwing those gifts away. Don't you be embarrassed about those gifts. Don't you be hiding those gifts. What the hell use are you if you have this knowledge and you have this ability and you're not helping anyone? You're not teaching anyone how to fix this world. Do you know how many, I get so upset. Animals are being fucking tortured and butchered and people are allowing it because they are sick, demented fucks that live in this world. That needs to stop. And the ones that have the power to make things happen, we are energy movers. We can free animals. We can make things happen. I have literally, with Spirit's help, turned a car over as it rolled and set that car back on its all 4 feet. And I had my eyes on him the whole time as his car was rolling, and he was watching me the whole time. And when the car landed, it was so strange. It's like everything was slowed down, like the Matrix, right? It's exactly, and I knew what to do. He was gonna die. He was gonna fucking die. There was no way. That car was going down the side of the mountain. And I took my hand and I literally rolled him and landed him on his feet. And when he stopped, the car went like this, and he looked at me and he goes, what the fuck? Like he was like angry. He was scared, but he was angry. And I just went, we just did that. We just did that. I knew we just did that. So if you have these gifts and you've got the ability to do this, don't be hiding your gifts because you're afraid that somebody's going to put you in a mental hospital, right? Get bigger, get louder about it. Connect with the right people. Ask for Spirit's help. I was once hunted. I was hunted by a lot of these people. They keep freaking coming back. They took my energy. I got sick, broke my body down. My skin was breaking down. My skin still hasn't recovered, right? And I was mad at my twin. I met him. He was sitting with that chick in my dream. This one, his karmic soulmate. And I said, what are you doing? And he goes, what did he say to me? He said, are you with anyone? And I said, no, I'm in a twin soul relationship. I'm looking right at him. And he goes, so am I. And I said, then what are you doing with her? And he said, it isn't time yet. And I go, what? And he goes, it's not time yet. And I was so mad at him. I thought, what? Because you got to learn this lesson too? Right? I went through mine and now you got to learn yours? Like, what the hell? Maybe it was me that needed to learn more. I obviously needed to learn a lot more. So in another dream, I was angry at him. And I said, look what you've done to me. Look what you've done to me. You fucking broke my body down. I can't sleep. I cry. I go places in my dreams that are devastating. I see things happening that are just I'm not innocent anymore. I want my innocence back. Look what you did to me. And he said, I didn't do that to you. I didn't do any of that to you. You did it to yourself. And I thought, what an asshole. What a fucking asshole you are. You don't even care that you've done this to me. And then I thought, he didn't do it to me. I did it to me. I was the one that stayed awake at night worrying and cried and tried to fix things. It wasn't my business to fix. Spirit says stay on your spiritually illuminated path, period. Stay on your path and do what you're told. When Spirit guides you to do something, you do it. And I'm not saying I'm being programmed by dark energy, because what I'm being guided to do is love. It's good, and it's for my own self, involvement, evolvement. And that's the only time when true twin souls, and I call them twin souls because that one was a flame and it burned me. Twin souls will come back together when they've done their work, when they have but mostly when they have learned how to be their own best friend, when they have learned that they don't need their twin to feel a part of them that's there. They need to learn how to love themselves. It's nobody else's fault what happens to you. I think about that song, Look What You Made Me Do. I'm dancing with someone new. No, I'm not. I didn't make you do shit. You made a choice to go back down that cul-de-sac. You knew it was a dead-end street. Why did you go back? Because somebody still had that intravenous plug in their arm, right? They made you feel guilty. And you think, I know better than that, right? I know better. What are you talking about? I'm more gifted than you are. I taught you. Yeah, you taught me, and then you stopped learning. You went back to sleep, and I continued to learn. And I continued to move forward. And you're suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, right? Just like Patty Hearst. It's funny how that all has come up recently for a reason, right? She's kidnapped, and then these people become her friends. I saw this. These people took him away. They found him on his knees, right? Car crashed. They saved him. This person became his friend. But this person, so now he feels allegiance to this person. But if you're with the right people, they're doing good work. They're doing good things. They're not doing things illegally. They don't make you feel bad. They don't make you feel bad about yourself. They don't make you feel lesser. They don't constantly tell you where you're falling short, right? They upbuild you. You grow. You feel good. You vibrate in the highest frequency when you're in the right energy. You know when you're in the right energy. I told you, though, I felt good energy from this person. I felt that energy. Why did I feel connected? Because I was probably connecting to a part of that person that was connecting to the one that I am connected to. Do you understand? I was also connecting to the goodness. Not everybody is inherently evil, right? Not everybody is 100% rotten. I'm connecting to the good in you. I see the good in you. I said that. I can see the good in you. I can understand why you would do that. I can understand that my daughter was really, really hurt, and she couldn't believe that her mother didn't know that happened to her. And so she is nasty, and she says mean things about me, and she pushes me away, but I didn't know, and it's not my fault. And I don't blame myself, and I don't hold myself accountable for it. But when I met my spiritual twin, in my dreams, I gave him all these dreams. I saw him standing there. He was wearing a blue suit, and he was standing up to his waist in water, salt water, because it was tears, and he had his hands clenched at his sides. And I said, why are you standing that way? Won't that hurt your suit? And he said, my suit will dry out. I have to stand this way because if I don't, I'll kill him. And I said, who? What has he done? And he said, a man hurt a girl, and I wasn't able to stop him. Now, so many of my dreams that I watched 6 and 7 years ago have been unfolding in the last few months. I thought I was watching things that had already happened. They hadn't happened yet. I watched so many things. All the things that I watched, they were coming. And so that situation, I'm not sure. Was it you blaming yourself? I wasn't able to stop this, and so you put blame on. This man molested you, and then you tried to protect your little sister or your little brother, but you weren't able to, so you blame yourself, right? It wasn't your fault. It was that monster's fault. Or was I watching now? Was I watching now? That's unfolding right now. If I don't stand here like this, I'll kill him because he hurt you, and I didn't know what was going on, and I wasn't able to stop him. I don't know. I won't know until I see him. But Stockholm Syndrome. Patty Hearst. They started stealing, right? I watched that in my dreams. They were thieves. And they brought her in on, they made her do something. And then once she was in on it, now it's extortion, right? We know what you did, and now that you've done this, if you don't do what we want you to do, we will blah, 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 blackmail, 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 right? Emotional blackmail, real blackmail. Sometimes they're straight out with it. Sometimes they're more sneaky. And something happens. They set you up, right? I watched him be set up. I've watched a lot of people be set up in my dreams. And they wake up, they got drugged. Somebody put a drug in their drink. And they woke up and there was a man in the bed with them. And they were a man. And they took pictures. Masquerade. So they told that person what had happened. You had sex with me last night. And the person knows better. This is the blue eye, which is truth. I know better. But they're all saying it. There's pictures, and I don't remember. So I'm starting to believe what they said. Maybe I did do that. I watched. They came into my dreams. And they had my twin standing in front of me. I saw my twin. It's one of the 3 times I've seen him in 6 years. And he was having sex from behind. And the person said to me, he's fucking a man. And I said, no, he's not. And he said, yes, he is. And I said, no, he's not. Get the fuck out of my dream. Get out. Get out of my dream. So it can be symbolic too, right? I know what you did, so I'm seeking retaliation. Well, it was one thing that I just posted. I only posted one thing today on Facebook. And it's about that. Where is it? I can't even find it. Maybe I didn't post it yet. It was about revenge. Don't seek revenge. That's what I watched in my dream 7 years ago too. This guy was going to go after his brother. He was going to kill him. And I said, don't do it. I stood between them. I knew what he had done, but I stood between them because it wasn't for him to seek revenge. And if you seek revenge, you are doing what they want you to do. I put it on Instagram. That's where it is. I'll share it really quick. The only people with whom you should try to get even are those who have helped you. And the message is why? If we feel the need to get even with someone, we've been triggered. Check ourselves, get balanced, clear our energy, strengthen our boundaries. Now focus our attention once again to our own path. Never let these energy vampires pull us off our course. These are all simply distractions to keep us doing the work, keep us from doing the work that we are here supposed to be doing. I didn't say that right, and I can't really see this right now. Hold on. Every once in a while, we have to remind each other. Oh, but you know that. You know that already, right? We all know that. That every once in a while, we have to remind each other that to get angry or seek revenge is actually giving our power away. Our energy that's best served, keeping it close to ourselves. Because when we now go on a path of revenge, we are so focused on that, we are completely off our path. And we have now become them. We have now gone from the hunted to the hunter, and we've become just like them, and we've given them our energy, and we've lost ours. And you have to learn karma. Karma. It's gonna play itself out. That made me feel really good this morning, actually, because last night I snapped. I got to the place where I couldn't look anymore. I was watching horses that had their stomachs slashed open while they were just to entertain people. They showed me cows that are put in cages and just this stuff that they were showing me. And I said, I can't handle this anymore, Father. Why are you allowing this to happen? Please stop them from doing this, please. The only person in the world that needs an ivory tusk is a fucking elephant. Please stop those people. But then I realized, karma's gonna come back. And those people that hurt people on purpose, they're gonna get theirs. They're gonna get theirs, and I don't wanna be anywhere near when it happens, because I don't want any of that energy vibrating anywhere near me. And you may say, oh, those people go their whole lives and they don't have anything happen. Look how successful they are. they will never have love. They will never have true love. They will never be able to have that child that they so desperately wanted. They will never have the love of the person that they knew they had. They had that person. They were that close to getting that person. They will never have that person because they made sure that happened to them because of their own fucked up karma. We have to all be careful of that. And I talk to myself too, big time, because I wanted to kill the people that were hurting my twin. I was so angry. I wanted to kill them. They couldn't have held me back. And you think, oh, she's just a little person. I can do things to people. I can make things happen, bad things. And I don't want to be that person. And so I have to remind myself. I think about what is the little girl in, is it in the Addams Family? There was a new series that came out. I got hooked on it. I was watching it. And it was all of these gifted ones. And the one girl, that was her thing, right? When she got angry, all shit broke loose. Everything just went to hell when she got angry. Wasn't that the little girl? That's me. So I keep it under control because bad things happen when you get angry. When your energy, when you are very powerful and you don't control your energy and focus it in a positive direction, it can make really bad things happen. And unfortunately, there are people, children have been picked by the government off the Indian reservations. They've gone and taken these children, the gifted ones, and they have programmed them. They've literally put little things in their head. I've watched it. And they clear their mind and then they program them. You think it's not real. It is. It's real. They do it. They find the ones that are gifted and then they use them like little machines to do their work. And you wonder why people act like, you're like, I don't understand. How is that president able to be in house? How is he able to do things like that? And why are those people all following? Why do they not see what that person is doing? Why is that okay? Why do people not see that? Because they're programmed. We're programmed all day long, every day, by the radio, by the songs on the radio, by the television. I don't watch TV. But even with the songs, it's really funny. When I'm on my path and when I'm on and I'm balanced and I don't have toxic energy around me, I will hear the same song, but I don't hear the lyrics the way they send them out. I hear them the way Spirit is sending them out. I said that to that person who was a songwriter. I said, you know that these songs are a story about twin souls. This is a story. These songs, all four of them go together. And he goes, no, they aren't. And I said, yeah, they are. It's very clear. P.S. I dreamed about this before I even met you. I know this song. I've seen it. I've seen the whole thing. I even found a video and I sent it to him to prove it. No, they're not. He goes, I would think I would know. I'm the one who wrote these songs. These are my songs. No, you're not the one who wrote those songs. God wrote those songs and you were used to write those songs. A lot of times I think to myself, these young people, they're just kids. And they write these hits and they're deep, right? They're gifted. Those are gifted kids, but a lot of times these people don't know even what they're writing. They don't realize what I'm hearing. They don't realize what an awakened individual is hearing. They don't realize how Spirit's talking to me through those songs. But you have to be careful of the people that you listen to, right? You got to be careful because people are really slick with their words, right? I'm good with my words. I don't try and say things that, talk you around in circles and leave you thinking, I have no idea what she just said, but okay. And no, if you don't understand it, you don't do it. Like my brother and my cousins, if they didn't understand that language, they had no business speaking it. They didn't know it. Somebody speaks tongues and they can't tell you what they're saying. I don't want to be anywhere near them. There's a lot of those people who are in Sedona that were part of this group of people that were around where I was. And they said that they were channeling Archangel Michael and they were channeling Archangel Metatron, and they didn't speak a human language. I didn't speak a human language either when I spoke to the animals, but I wasn't speaking to humans. I was speaking to the animals. So if you want to talk in your star language to Metatron or to Michael or to whoever, that's one thing. But when you are speaking in a completely different language to other people and you can't tell them what you're saying, it's not Spirit that's speaking through you. Well, it's not light Spirit that's speaking through you, put it that way. And everybody that encourages you to go take ayahuasca and peyote, that is that you don't need a drug to open your mind. Your mind is already open. You don't need a drug. When you take a drug into your body like that, you're opening your mind, your crown chakra, to every other entity and every other energy out there. And now they're in. And now you got to do a lot of work to get them out because you're off your path. And no, it's sacred. These are spiritual people. Bullshit. It's sacred. It's not sacred. You don't need a drug to hear Spirit. You don't need a drug to be enlightened. No, you don't. That's your father. The Archangel Michael and Metatron. Those are my brothers. I don't need a drug to talk to them. Well, why didn't I see them before? Why didn't I hear them before? I wasn't aware. I didn't think I could. I wasn't ready. It's like you don't drive a race car when you're 6, right? You're on a bike. You're not ready. My twin, when he came to me, he asked me if I was his twin soul, and I said no. I told him who I thought my twin flame was. And he said to me, you're not ready. Go out there. Go do what you need to do. Go do it. Go do it all. And when he comes to you, don't push away what your soul is longing for. He was mad. He was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're still not aware? You don't know? He still has a hold of you? But then what happened? Pam Leach still had a hold of him. Okay, you guys. I could go on, and I need to get off because I need to start working, and it's literally 3 o'clock. So somebody needed to hear this. A lot of people needed to hear this. And Spirit, I'm not going to worry about it. Spirit will make sure that whoever needed to hear it did. And I will tell you, the hunters, you need to stay back off. Because the ones that are on my side are tapping in and giving me things that, just like the lake, you know, I've got information. I've got information. They can bring me information. That's the thing is, I didn't need to tell my twin what was going on, because when he needed to know what was going on, Spirit's going to show him themselves, right? Doesn't have to be through me. I don't have to save anyone. I just need to freaking do my work, period, and keep myself on my path. So those ones need to stay away from me, and I know who you are, and I'm not interested. I'm not going to waste my energy getting mad at you anyway, because the signs are all with me. What happened the other day? Spirit said everything is about to become very transparent, right? All the lies and manipulation and misleading, it's all going to come out. Everyone's going to know. And the emphasis was when my landlord and I were looking out, and I watched them pouring that poison on our water. Our water, they're trying to stop the algae bloom, which is a natural thing, right? So they pour chemicals into the water, which is poison, which is kind of like sending a spiritual person to a hospital and giving them drugs, right? So they poured poison on our water to control it, and the fish were dying. And the next morning, the lake was like 25% down. I mean, it was down. I took you guys down there. It was more than 25%. It was crazy. But that was just showing me what Spirit was showing me spiritually. You don't have to worry about it. It's all about to become very, very clear. You're going to understand. The things you don't understand will be made clear. And until then, you just keep doing your work. You just keep staying on your path. But don't be following after people and thinking that you need someone else to pray to your dad or to pray to your God or to ask for angelic assistance. You do it yourself, right? I'm not here to lead you, and neither is anybody else. We're here to find out ourselves. Now, it's true. I went searching too because I didn't understand a lot of things. But what did I do? Spirit made me search. And the spiritual people that I attached to, because I attached to them as well. I wasn't trying to hurt them. I was just trying to learn. But they kicked me off. They're like, hey, you know what? I've helped. And if you want some more help, look it up, right? There's a lot of videos out there. There's a lot of spiritual people. Go pay attention to your animal messengers. I've been giving you guys all kinds of clues, you know, about what I had to do and what I do, and I still do. Because sometimes you get guidance and you question yourself, right? But you're not going to question yourself if you get quiet and you go in. And when Spirit says disconnect, you've been working too much, you freaking disconnect. You go on a retreat, you go into nature. You know that that's how you're supposed to do it. You know that you do the best when you're in nature, when you're away from the bars, when you're away from the alcohol, when you're away from the drugs, when you're away from the gossip, when you're away from anybody who makes you feel bad about yourself. And it's not your place to stay waiting for somebody, hoping to save them. You are an enabler, or you're being controlled yourself, and you don't think it. You're thinking you're helping them, but you're not. You're being controlled by them. So if somebody loves you, they'll show you. If somebody cares about you, they'll be there. If they're not, let them go. Whether they're your twin soul, twin flame, or whoever the fuck you think they are. Because you need to love your own self, period. And I know who's my friend. My friends, I know their name. If I don't know their name, they come to my page and I know they're lying to me, they're not my friend. And, well, there's mitigating circumstances. Well, then you better figure out how to get to me to tell me, because you lie to me, you're out. I don't, and empaths, you know when something's not right. You know when there's something that's not right. Doesn't feel right. There's something that doesn't work right then. So then you pull back until you figure it out. Pull back and you ask Spirit. They'll show you. All right, you guys, that's it. I don't even know what you guys said. Like I said, I've got, and I can see one of the narcissists is watching me right now. And there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Because they have no power. That's why they come to you. They want yours. So, Archangel, and I did a big shielding before I came on. I asked Archangel Michael to completely protect me, my pets, my home, and anything that would come through the internet. And I've been very, very careful. And every morning, the second I open my eyes, it's bubble right away. Clear my shield right away. I ask for protection. So teachers especially have to do it. But the biggest thing is learning our boundaries and balance. Enough is enough already. Okay, you guys, I will read all these. I'll go back through and read them, but I can't go, and I would have gotten distracted if I looked at your, so don't think it doesn't matter, and that what you said wasn't important, because obviously it is, right? But I just had something I had to deliver. So I'll let you go. And, you know, if you thought you were coming on to get a free reading, sorry, that's not what this was about. I do those a lot. What are you saying? Amy. Okay, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.